everybody, welcome back to my channel. We are finally getting on to part 2 of the timeline of like the books of Pretty Little Liars. That's the worst intro I've ever done. I'm so sorry. So if you haven't seen part 1, I mentioned that the books were split into 4 different arcs that we're going to explore together. In part 1, I covered the first 4 books. So if you haven't watched that, I highly recommend you do. I will leave the link down below for you to check that out. But today we are doing part 2, which is obviously the second arc of the books. The second arc consists again of another 4 books. These 4 books are Wicked, Killer, Heartless, and Wanted. The second arc deals with the second A. Obviously before we ended off with Mona being revealed as A, and Mona actually died in the books at this stage. So it deals with the second A, and we learn a lot more about the De Laurentiis family. The first book in like the second arc, so basically the 5th book of the entire series, is called Wicked. This book opens up to a flashback at Rosewood High School, and everyone's really excited because there's like a time capsule thing that's going on, and everyone's really excited to participate in it. Each year the administration cuts up the school flag and posts clues to where the pieces are hidden. If a student finds one, the child may decorate it. Then the pieces are sewn back together and the flag is buried in a time capsule for future generations to find. That's kind of really fun. I don't think I was ever part of a time capsule thing at my school. I know we had one, but I don't think I was ever part of it. But like, that sounds really fun. A student lucky enough to find a piece of the flag instantly gains popularity in the hierarchy of the school. So Alison claims that Jason has been asked to hide one of the pieces, and that Jason told her he would tell her where it is. The rest of the girls, Hannah, Aria, Emily, and Spencer, plan to kind of spy on Alison to see where the piece of the flag is, because the rules state that within the competition you are allowed to steal pieces. Already there's a little bit of tension towards the girls. I think it's very much like the show in the aspect that like they don't really like Alison. Like pre-Alison, they don't really vibe with her. They're a bit like oh, that is not. Alison claims that someone will have to kill her before someone else gets the prize. And Ian, good old Ian, is back. Jokes that he'll make it happen. And Jason overhears this and he kind of gets quite protective, let's say, and kind of stands up to Ian. It's like, what you say? What you say that for? And then they end up getting quite like, you know, when like 2 people are about to have a fight, they get up close with each other. That happens, but they do get pulled away. But the liars kind of reflect in hindsight they should have maybe taken Ian's threat seriously, because in the last part Ian got arrested for Alison's murder. He didn't do it, spoiler alert, but he did get arrested for the murder. So I guess similar to the time capsule, this is now present day. The 4 girls go to see a grief counselor, and the counselor suggests that they bring items that meant a lot to them, that like reminds them of Alison, and they all bury it. So Hannah returns home, and Ashley has actually left Rosewood for a job in Singapore. So Hannah's dad kind of takes priority of looking after Hannah, but he also brings along Kate and Isabel, who are obviously like his new family. In the previous part, Kate kind of sabotaged Hannah. Hannah wanted to go to this like prom thing, and Kate said that she would cover her, but then she ended up kind of putting Hannah at like fault for it. Hannah's dad doesn't really understand what's going on, like why they kind of hate each other, but he doesn't know at this point that Kate kind of sabotaged Hannah, so that's kind of why they don't really vibe with each other. So Aria has broken up with Ezra at this point because the whole relationship got exposed and Ezra got fired and had to move away. Thank God Truly. Thank goodness. Like, anyway, sorry, I forgot to say, Tom didn't really do anything here, but in the last part, I had a jail list, and I'm making one again for this part. And although Tom didn't do anything, I'm still going to put him here. Truly. And once again, I know Ezra didn't really do anything here, but once again, I will be putting Ezra on that list because I need to re-establish, right, that I don't vibe with these people. Okay. Aria's mum, Ella, is ready to kind of go back into the dating world because her and Byron have split up because Byron was having an affair with one of his students and then he made Aria lie about it. So I will put Byron on the jail list again. I know he didn't really do anything here, but I need to establish. I don't support this man. So she actually gives Aria a ticket to like a painting, an art gallery, that's it, because Ella wasn't going to go to it. So Aria ends up going and she ends up meeting a man and she ends up kind of flirting with him and she finds out that he's like the artist of these paintings. So she leaves him, I think, like her number in kind of like the guest book, I guess, in case he ever wanted to get in contact ever again. This will come back. So Emily is still kind of grieving Alison. Emily and Maya at this stage have splitten up, no longer a thing. Emily's mom kind of recommends her to go to like the church fundraiser, and when she gets there, she's actually surprised because the priest is concerned about Emily, but not because of Emily's like sexuality, because of just like everything that's going on, and wants to check up on her and make sure she's okay with that. So Emily's a bit stunned. She's like, oh, I'm not being judged for once. Like, what's going on? A local band is playing at the fundraiser and Emily is instantly very attracted to the lead singer, who is called Isaac. He's attracted to her as well and he asks her for her number. So Spencer has had to deal with the repercussions of the fact she cheated on her essay. The school asked her to step down as vice school counselor, and then also her family have been very cold towards her. They actually went on vacation without her. Actually, my family went on holiday without me recently. Sorry. I found out through the family group chat. They were sending pictures. I was like, Where are you guys? Without me. The audacity. They thought I would be busy. Sorry, personal matter, over. So Spencer is then called down to the headmaster's office and she's actually informed that her grandmother has passed away. So the next day, her and her family go to like the hearing for like the will of the thing. So while waiting, Melissa tells her that the DA is considering dropping the case against Ian for Alison's murder because there is not enough evidence against him. She suggests the reason may be because of Spencer's plagiarism. Let's take a moment. How does that connect, Melissa? The fact that Spencer plagiarized an essay means that Ian didn't kill Alison. No, because Melissa, you're gonna start annoying me. Melissa also admits that Ian called her from jail and begged her and the other girls not to testify against him. That's suspicious. That's weird. So they enter the will reading, but Spencer's really shocked because they find out that Spencer's grandmother left $2 million to each natural born like cousin and like child in the family. However, Spencer's name is not on the list. She runs away. She's like, I'm getting out of here. I'm a celebrity, getting me out of here. So Aria spends the evening getting Ella ready for her date. She's looking glamorous. She's looking amazing. The date knocks on the door and get this. The date is the guy who was the artist that Aria was flirting with, Xavier. Aria thinks that he's there for her. However, he's actually there for Ella. But Aria can see that Ella is very attracted to him. So we got an issue. Emily and the girls meet up to talk about Alison because the grief counselor kind of advised them to, and they find a photograph the day they found the time capsule flyer. The girls admit it's strange that they all showed up in Alison's backyard at the same time to steal her piece of the flag, only to discover that someone else had already stolen it. So then Melissa rushes into the room and she's like, you gotta put the TV on. Put the TV on, everyone. Ian Thomas has been released. He's been released from jail on bail so he can visit his mother, who is dying of pancreatic cancer. So he's not off the hook yet, but no, he actually didn't kill Alison. However, he should actually be in jail, so, you know. So he will be on house arrest until the trial, and Ian continues to say that he's innocent and he didn't kill Alison. But then the girls are very flabbergasted, a bit petrified, to be honest. But they actually all end up getting a text from A at this point, which says, honestly, bitches, did you really think I'd let you off that easy? You haven't gotten nearly what you deserve, and I can't wait to give it to you. Mwah! Kisses, A. Love it. Love it. So Spencer tells Wilden about the text messages. Remember, Wilden is a different man in the books compared to the TV show. Guys, I'm going to take my ribbon off. It's really hurting my head. Whew. Anyway, as I was saying, so Spencer tells him about the text messages, and Spencer kind of alludes to Ian being the person who sent it. However, kind of Wilden could have says like no and it's probably just a copycat learning from Mona type of thing. But Wilden seems very agitated by the fact that Ian's been released. He seems quite bothered by it. Me too, girl. As the others leave, Spencer learns that Melissa was listening in on the conversation. Melissa, you're really starting to annoy me. You really are. Melissa doesn't believe that Ian killed Alison. And believes that everything Spencer told the police was a big fat lie. Spencer then confronts her mum about the will. She's like, so what's going on? Because I want my money. I want my money. Her mother doesn't really give her the time of day. She's like, absolutely, get out of here. Get out of here. So then Spencer's like, maybe I'm adopted, because the money was given to every natural born kind of grandchild in the family. So Spencer's like, that's suspicious. Maybe I'm adopted. Kate tries to become friends with Hannah again over breakfast. Kate apologizes for ratting out Hannah and says she was going through a hard time because her boyfriend broke up with her. Kate says that she went to go see a gynecologist but wouldn't say why. It's giving Barbie movie. You know what I'm talking about? Kate is then like, we should team up and become like the popular girls at school again. Hannah kind of takes this opportunity because she's like, now that Mona's gone, this could be like the best way to get the popularity back type of thing. Aria, Mike and Ella go to a restaurant to meet Xavier, and Aria is very uncomfortable by the situation because she was flirting with him at like the art gallery and she hasn't told her mum about it. Mike leaves the table to take a phone call, and Ella goes to the restroom. Aria and Xavier make forced conversation until he challenges her to a sketching contest. The two of them draw for 1 minute. Aria sketches an old man at a nearby table, and she is surprised and confused when she sees Xavier has drawn a picture of her. Aria doesn't know if he's flirting with her or trying to bond with her because she's Ella's daughter. Then A texts images of Xavier and Aria together. One is from the art gallery and one's from the restaurant. And there is a text message underneath it saying, artists like Menage's a choice. Mummy just might too. If you firm a labouche about me, I'll do the same for you. I don't know whether to put Xavier on the jail list for now, because I don't know if that was flirting or not, but we will get into further actions that may put him on the jail list. But nonetheless, Emily and Isaac go sledging, and Emily's really confused because she's really attracted to him, but she doesn't tell him about her relationship with Maya. He leaves her for a moment to chase his sled, and Emily's surprised to see Officer Wilden in the parking lot talking on his phone. He seems upset, but she can't hear what he's saying. When Wilden notices Emily, he lowers his head so she can no longer see his face. She's distracted when Aria calls her to tell her about A's latest text message. Aria claims she called Officer Wilden a few minutes ago and he told her he was in a meeting. But Emily told Aria she must have misheard him because she just saw him. So Wilden, what are you playing at? Isaac returns and he ends up kissing Emily, and obviously Emily is very shocked by that because she's shocked that she's attracted to him because she thought she was like just gay. However, A then sends her a warning that if Emily tells anyone about A's sins, A will tell Alex about her past relationship with Maya. And the text says, "Hi Em, doesn't the Bible say good Christian boys shouldn't kiss girls like you? So WWAD, what would A do?" Oh, I love that. What would A do? "I won't confess your sins if you don't confess mine. Kiss, kiss, A." Kate forces Hannah to apologize to Riley and Naomi, who is like a feud that Emily's had for a while, and they're more than happy to be friends, but Hannah wonders if they actually have an agenda. She also obsesses over the fact that Kate went to a gynecologist because she wants to know the reason for it, so she kind of obsesses over that. When she sees that Kate has a cold sore, she wonders actually if Kate got herpes from her boyfriend, and that's like kind of what like happened between them. Riley and Naomi actually talk Hannah and Kate into attending a formal benefit event that Spencer's parents are putting together. A texts Hannah a warning that someone in her life isn't being honest with her. A warns her that if Hannah tells anyone about the text, she might have another accident similar to when Mona tried to kill her. And the text says, "Dear little piggy, those who don't remember the past are doomed to repeat it. Remember your unfortunate accident, tell anyone about Little or me, and this time I'll make sure you don't wake up. But just to show that I'm willing to play nice, here's a helpful hint. Someone in your life isn't what they seem. Love ya, A." Spencer finds herself attracted to Andrew. Andrew has kind of taken on the role of being her tutor. And she confides in Andrew about the fact that she thinks she might be adopted. So Andrew kind of signs her up to this website that like tries to find like long lost families type of thing. But then she receives a text message from A, and the text message says, "I thought we were friends, Spence. I send you a little sweet note and you call the cops. What do I have to do to keep you girls quiet? Actually, don't tempt me." Oh, this A is serious. This A is serious, everyone. Spencer then notices the words "I'm watching you" have been drawn in like the condensation on like her like window. So when she tells Hannah about this, Hannah also kind of dismisses it and says that it's probably just a copycat thing, similar to like what Wilden was saying. And Hannah says that it's probably Ian just trying to scare her into not testifying against him. That evening, Ian actually sneaks over to Spencer's house, and Spencer tries to get him to confess to sending the text messages, but he doesn't really have any idea what she's talking about. He tries to convince her that he didn't kill Alison, but he does tell her that he knows something about the murder that she doesn't know and she's not aware of, and it's something even the cops don't want people to know about because they want to frame Ian for the murder. He says that he'll have the evidence tomorrow to prove his innocence. When Spencer still doubts him, he tells her that he saw another girl that night with Alison, another blonde girl. Interesting. So he leaves and Spencer receives another text from A, which says, "Question, if poor little Miss Not So Perfect suddenly vanished, would anyone even care? You told on me twice. 3 strikes and we'll find out if your parents will cry over the loss of your pathetic life. Tread softly, Spence. A." Oh, she's serious. Emily is very excited but confused as she goes to a Chinese restaurant to go and meet Isaac. And as she's kind of going to the parking lot, she remembers that Alison once told the girls to meet here when they first became friends. And within this flashback, Emily asks Alison about the fight that Ian and Jason had. But Alison brushes it off and says that she was teasing him in the car about it. But then she remembers that she actually left without Jason. So she's like, interesting. But Emily shakes off the memory as she enters the restaurant. Although she's attracted to Isaac, she's worried he might find out about her past relationship with Maya. Isaac tells her that his father owns a catering business and that he'll be working on a fundraiser that weekend sponsored by Emily's school. He wonders whether she'll attend. Emily figures she has to go, if only to stop anyone from telling Isaac about her relationship with Maya. She's surprised when Maya then shows up at the restaurant. So Isaac introduces himself as Emily's date, and Emily flees to the parking lot before Maya can tell Isaac about their relationship. A then sends her a text message which says, "Hi Em, don't you hate it when your ex shows up and ruins your romantic night? I wonder how she knew where to find you. Let this be a warning. Talk and your past will be the least of your problems. A." I don't know, A kind of got her. I'm sorry, Emily, my love. But Isaac follows her outside and he apologizes for saying that they were on a date. But Emily's like, no, like that's not the reason why I'm upset. But they kind of make up and they end up kind of arranging to be a date for the fundraiser. Aria has been stressing because Xavier is now kind of like a regular in the household, and she's uncomfortable by the whole situation. But he arrives one night when Aria is watching the news. Ella has left the house and they're watching about Ian's trial that's like on the news that's coming up. He says that he's surprised because someone like Ian doesn't look like someone who would murder Alison like that. Aria gets upset, so to distract her they end up having a pillow fight, and within this Xavier ends up kissing Aria. So this is when I said he now will be on the jail list. What is this? What's he doing? This man dating a mum, kissing the child. Aria goes through it with these like men that just totally take advantage of her. Like, this is like insane now. Aria gets very upset by it and she runs away to her room, and she gets a text from A which says gotcha. So A kind of knows what happened. The following morning, Spencer has a strange dream in which Alison appears as both a 6th grader and the way she looked before she died. Both of the Alisons warn Spencer that she shouldn't have thrown away something that is very specific she shouldn't have thrown away, but they're not specific about what it is. Spencer wakes up to her alarm and gets ready for school, and she meets up with her old friends and they discuss the start of the trial that afternoon. So Hannah joins the group which has like Kate and Riley and Naomi in it, and Lucas comes up to her, but Hannah kind of dismisses Lucas. I don't think she wants to be seen with Lucas at this point. But then she's worried because the girls are like walking ahead of her, and she's worried that the girls are kind of talking about her. So she receives a text from A that illustrates how much A knows about Hannah's past and insecurities. It also wants Hannah to ruin Kate before Kate has a chance to ruin her. The text says, Hannah a glutton for Cheez-Its and punishment too, it seems. Ruin her before she ruins you. This is kind of like a helpful text, I feel. Like A is kind of like, I don't know, A is kind of like backing these girls up here. Well, Hannah anyways. The liars sit together at the courthouse as Ian's trial is starting, but the trial doesn't start because Ian is actually missing. They overhear his dad saying that he saw him in his bedroom I think the night before, but like that was the last time. And then that's when Spencer admits the conversation that she had with Ian to the liars the night before. Hannah goes for a run to clear her mind, but her thoughts are all over the place. She begins to think that Mona and Kate must have corresponded, so that's how Mona learned more details about Hannah's life. She convinces herself that Kate and Mona had a plan to bring her down, and Kate is still working on seeing the plan completed. When she gets home from her run, Hannah overhears Kate talking on the phone in the bedroom. Kate seems to be telling someone that the time is almost right and that something will work out. Hannah sees this as confirmation that Kate is plotting against her. The tension is tensioning everyone. It's very much there. Emily and Isaac attend the fundraiser that Spencer's parents are putting on. But Wilden does kind of tell everyone that they should stay at home whilst Ian is missing, just in case anything happens. Some of the boys at Emily's school start to ask Emily about Isaac. So Emily panics and she gets really upset, so she runs to the bathroom. Isaac goes after her and she confesses about her relationship with Maya. And Isaac says, you know, you've not been honest with me, but I meant what I said when I want you to be my girlfriend. So the two hug and kind of make up. Spencer has a fight with her parents, so she goes to see Andrew. And she kind of confesses to Andrew everything that's been happening in the past few months. And she's very surprised that Andrew is very, you know, understanding rather than judgmental. So the two of them kiss. And then she receives a text message from the adoption website claiming that someone matching her birth records has been found and should be in contact with her soon. Then Andrew and Spencer are cuddling, and within this, Spencer sees a picture of Alison on the mantle. So Spencer clocks that she has buried something with the souvenirs that they buried earlier on. Of Alison's thing. She asks Andrew to tell Officer Wilden to search for her if she's not back in 10 minutes. Then she heads outside. So Hannah and Lucas arrive at the party. They're together at this point. Hannah tries to persuade him that Kate is out to ruin her, but Lucas is not convinced. She gets quite angry at him and says that he doesn't understand because he's never been part of the popular crowd. So she sees that Kate is getting a lot of attention from the boys at the school, so she actually tells everyone that Kate has herpes. So everyone kind of goes away from her. Kate insists she doesn't have herpes, so Lucas is furious and actually breaks up with Hannah at this point and leaves her there. Aria is nervous to see Xavier at the party. She doesn't want to really be around him, so she ends up going to Spencer's room to kind of get away from him, but he ends up following her. He accuses her of sending him mixed signals about her feelings for him. I will be putting him on the jail list again, everyone. What is this guy doing? Sorry. The audacity of it. He's sure that Aria wants to have an affair with him, which is why she didn't tell her mum about their kiss. Aria assures him that it isn't the case at all. She just doesn't want to hurt her mum's feelings. When she tries to assert that Xavier should leave her and her mother alone, he tells her that he's not going anywhere. If Aria tries to break him and Ella up, he will claim that Aria came onto him. Aria knows as much as she hates the idea, she has to go live with her father and her pregnant girlfriend so she can keep away from him. Xavier, you're on the list again. This guy, the amount of trauma that Aria faces from these grown men, I feel horrible for her. Like, this is such a bad thing. Like, she's actually trapped and she's going through so much at this point because of this man. Oh my god. Spencer then uncovers the bags of the things that they had buried of Alison's. And one of the things was a picture that Aria had drawn. And it was of the day in 6th grade when Alison held the notice about the time capsule competition. Aria had captured the people surrounding Alison, one of them who was Ian Thomas. In the sketch, Alison is looking smug, but Ian is looking vulnerable. Spencer remembers Ian's claims that he and Alison flirted but weren't serious about a relationship until she suddenly had a change of heart. Spencer wonders whether Ian could be telling the truth about someone else killing Alison, and she gets a message from Ian to meet him in the woods where Alison died because he has something to show her. Hannah's father arrives at the event and confronts Hannah, and he's furious. So Kate says that her excuse was when Hannah heard her on the phone was that she was practicing her lines for Hamlet. So Tom grounds Hannah. She has to go everywhere with Kate, and she can't see any of her friends. Afterwards, Hannah realizes that none of these lines are in Hamlet, so she clocks that Kate was lying about the entire situation, but she knows that her father will never believe that. So Hannah, Aria, and Emily meet up at the party. Emily has just seen Officer Wilden, who told her Spencer is missing. No one has seen her for the last 30 minutes. The girls confess the notes they've received from A, but Emily tells them that Officer Wilden is convinced the notes didn't come from Ian. The girls wonder who could have sent them. Just then they all receive a text from A, and this text says, "You all told, and now one of you has to pay the price. Want to know where your old BFF is? Look out the back window. It might just be the last time you see her." Gaggery, everyone. They try and search the house for Officer Wilden again, but they receive another text from A saying that they should go outside alone to see what's about to happen. Can you feel it building up, guys? It's building up. We're coming to a conclusion. So get sat, get seated, get prepared. They hear someone whimpering and follow the noise into the woods. Hannah trips over a branch and falls to the ground. She tells the other girls to run or go ahead, but then realizes she's alone in the woods with Ian or A or whoever is sending them the notes. A figure comes into their sight, but it's wearing a hood. Hannah knows the person is too small to be Ian, but she can't distinguish if it's male or female, and then the figure runs off. Interesting. Really, really interesting, this. Everyone be sat for what's about to come. Aria goes through the woods and she remembers the last time they were there. She actually saw Jason, and Jason told her that she gave Alison the piece of the flag from like the time capsule thing. The three end up catching up to Spencer, and Spencer is kneeling on the ground. She's devastated, right? Because hear this, they see the body of Ian Thomas in front of her, and he looks like he's been there for a while because he's stiff and very blue. And then they all get a text at the same time from A saying that he had to go. The gaggery of it. I love it. I guess it's quite similar to the TV show because Ian kind of died in a similar aspect and kind of like at a similar time in the story. But this is really cool. I love it. I love the thought, like playing the scene out in my head. They're running through a forest and they stumble across his body. That is so sickening. So that is the end of book number 5. So then we move on to book number 6, the second book in the second arc, which is called Killer. Killer takes place immediately after they find Ian's body. However, they go and find Detective Wilden, and when they come back, the body is gone. The body's gone. Kind of similar to the TV show, right? They thought the police investigation would obviously be about Ian dying. However, it kind of turned into the opposite, and they all accused the liars of lying about it, and like no one really believes them. So Spencer then gets a text from A after the whole Ian situation, which says, "Dear Spence, when I told you that he had to go, I didn't mean he had to die. Still, there's something really sketchy in this case, and it's up to you to figure out what it is. So better get searching, or the next one gone is you. Au revoir." Okay, like this A is not messing around. This A did not come to flop. She's going for it, you know? So Hannah has started to, she's kind of competing with Kate for everything now. She was grounded because of what had happened previously, but she's really starting to compete with Kate. Like everyone just prefers Kate type of thing. Kate expresses interest in Aria's brother, Mike. So Hannah starts flirting with Mike as well. Mike finds out that Hannah has been seeing him in order to win against Kate. And it turns out Mike himself had a bet with his friends about whether Hannah asked him to prom or not. However, along the way, they both develop feelings for each other and decide to start officially dating. Hannah and Mike actually share similar qualities in the fact that they're both obsessed with being popular. So yeah, Mike and Hannah are dating at this stage. Emily is rapidly falling in love with her new boyfriend Isaac, and they decide to sleep together, but they are caught by his mum. She doesn't confront them directly, but she throws kind of shady comments towards Emily, and she even cuts Emily out of a photo. So when Emily confronts Isaac about this, Isaac takes his mum's side, and they break up and they argue. But then when Isaac finds out the truth, he kind of begs for forgiveness, but they don't end up getting back together at this stage. So Emily receives a photo, and it is a photo of Alison's backyard. Emily recognizes the tree house in the big oak off to the side, And there was Ali. She was wearing a field hockey uniform from Rosewood Youth League, meaning the photo was from 5th or 6th grade. There were 2 other girls in the picture. One had blonde hair and was mostly concealed by a tree, who had to be Naomi, who was one of Alison's best friends at the time. Emily is confused by it because why is A sending her this? What's the blackmail element? Then she noticed a text there's a text with the photo. One of these things doesn't belong. Figure it out quickly or else. I don't know. Like, A is kind of helping these girls. I don't know. Like, she's dropping hints. She's giving them a real, like, you better work this out for yourself. Get to work. It's like no one wants to work these days. Spencer has become very determined to find her birth mother because she believes that she is adopted. So she gets a match in iloveyou.com with a young woman named Olivia. Olivia arranges for them to meet in New York, where Olivia lives. Spencer immediately starts to see similarities between them, the way they smile and their eye color, and notably how like skinny their hands are. Olivia was born in the city and went to college, and she now works as a art director in a magazine that focuses on the nightlife of New York City. Spencer tells Olivia about her life in Rosewood, and she wants to eventually move to New York and go to NYU. So Olivia is like, great, like I can find you an apartment. So Olivia promises that her estate agent named Michael has probably already found the perfect apartment for her. So they end up finding the apartment, and she doesn't want to waste this opportunity. So she transfers Michael the money for like a deposit, a deposit on rent. But this money comes from a bank account where her parents had kept money for college. When she later goes to her new apartment, she realizes that the street isn't even a real address in West Village, and the building where Olivia said she had just moved into doesn't also have a name. So she was scammed by Olivia and this Michael guy. Aria's having a tough time with all the media attention that they're getting post Ian's death, but she has actually started to see Jason De Laurentiis at this stage because the De Laurentiises moved back closer to Rosewood. They moved because of the court proceedings that were happening. Aria had always had a crush on Jason De Laurentiis, even when, Alison was still alive and they were kids. Emily actually warns Aria about Jason. She's very skeptical of him. Earlier, she had seen him act very threatening towards her, and not long after, she saw him having a heated conversation with Jenna. However, Aria claims that Emily is just out to get Jason because Emily wants to believe that Alison and Jason had sibling problems, which kind of had input into like the whole Jenna thing situation that was going on, and that she wants to believe Alison and kind of she wants Jason to be, I guess, the villain in this situation. And Emily's a bit in disbelief. She's a bit flabbergasted because she can't believe that Aria can't see past like what's actually going on. So then Emily receives a photo from A of Wilden in a confessional in like a church with a text message saying, "I guess we all have stuff to feel guilty about, huh?" A. So what is Wilden up to? So at the end of the book, the liars attend the opening party for Radley's Hotel, which was previously known as the haven for troubled youth. Emily finds medical records from one of the rooms that prove that Jason had been a patient in Radley for many years before Alison's murder. How sickening is that? That is so... okay. I see what we're doing here. I see it. She shares this information with the other liars, and then they come to the conclusion that Jason and Wilden had something to do with Alison's murder, which... I don't really know where that conclusion came from. I would have more came to the conclusion that they were responsible for Ian's death rather than Alison's death, but I digress. I really do. Someone then sets the woods behind the Hastings house on fire. Okay. Aria finds someone pleading for help in the woods and saves them. After returning to the other liars, they realize that the person is Alison. Exactly. That's the end of book number 2. I find that really interesting. This is really when everything hits the fan. I find it really cool. Jason was in Radley. Wow. Okay. And the fact they kind of know that Alison's like alive now, because there had been towards the last book of the first arc, book number 4, Emily thought she had seen Alison but didn't know and thought she was just kind of going crazy. But the fact they kind of have some confirmation about it now, I think is really interesting. But yeah, let's move on to book number 3. Hello everybody, change of position, change of outfit. I'm filming this section on another day because the last time I filmed like part 1, I did it in a 6-hour like session and it almost killed me. Oh look, the sun's coming out. Yeah, I did the last section in a 6-hour slot and it was a lot, so I've had to divide this one up. So hello, I'm back, although I've not left for you, but I've left for me. Anyway, now we're gonna move on to the next book in the series. The next book is called Heartless and it is number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, book 7. Now the sun's gone back in. So I feel like this is the book. Things hit the fan. It all goes off in this book, really. This was probably, apart from the book with like the Mona reveal, I feel like this is probably the book like that's like the most like, you know. This one is called Heartless. And we're starting off, obviously in the last book there was a fire in the De Laurentiis like backyard. No, sorry, the Hastings backyard. So we're kind of like starting from kind of like the end of that. We've got Emily. Emily's falling in and out. Do you know what's falling in and out? This sun. Emily's falling in and out of consciousness because she's like inhaled a lot of smoke. So the doctors are trying to see her, tend to her because she's kind of going through it, right? Emily tells the police that they all saw Alison. But like the police are like, girl, like you're going insane. Like Alison is dead. They're a bit flabbergasted. They're a bit like, Wilden even told the girls that the body they found of Alison's had the same DNA as Alison. Everyone's like, she's crazy. She's going insane. Also, the media start to take a bit more of attention to the girls in this book. The media starts to kind of openly kind of like, not taunt them, like, I don't know, like, yeah, like kind of make fun of them. And in the media, they actually get labeled as Pretty Little Liars. Oh my god! They said the title name in the book. Oh my god. Emily and Spencer have a little bit of a spat. They're in a hospital room. And Emily's like, guys, you saw Alison, right? Like, come on, like, you saw her. And all of the girls are like, yeah. And Spencer's a bit like she's literally dead. Like, girl, what do you want us to do? Like, she's dead. Emily then turns to Aria and Hannah and is like, did you see her as well? And the girls were like, I guess. Spencer's kind of like, girl, she's dead, get over it. Come on now, wake up. Emily turns to Hannah and was like, Hannah, you mentioned you saw her in a dream. Like when Hannah got run over and she saw Alison. Emily's like, you said that was real. And Hannah and Spencer butts in and she's like, Hannah was literally in a coma. That could have been anything. That could have been a dream. So there's a bit of a spat because no one's really believing Emily. Emily feels very like by herself. Emily has to really defend herself. Aria pulls out a ring that she found during the events. She opened her palm and showed them a familiar looking Rosewood Day class ring with a bright blue stone. The inscription on the inside of the band said Ian Thomas. Interesting. Ian Thomas's ring was found at the fire. Interesting. When they discovered Ian's supposed dead body in the woods, the ring had been on Ian's finger. And then they have a whole debate about like, should they take it to the police or not? Aria's like, yeah, it was just lying there, so I took it. Okay. But then Spencer's like, no, let's keep it for now, because they don't really trust the police at this point. Although I will say like Wilden in this book is like actually okay compared to like the TV show. Wilden is like not as bad. They're still kind of hung up on the theory that Jason and Wilden killed Alison and they're teaming up to bring the girls down one by one. So they're still quite hung up on that. That's why they don't really trust Wilden at this point in time. So as they start talking about it, Wilden walks in the room and all of the girls like, look, we've called a nurse. If you've come to hurt us, get out of here. We're not having it today. Not today, my love. But then Wilden is like, what are you talking about? Like, be serious. Like, what are you talking about? They accuse him of starting the fire because Hannah saw him buying propane. And then also Emily said that she saw him driving away from Spencer's house. Like, he was like hurrying away from like a scene of a crime. But obviously he denies it. He's like, what is going on? What on earth is going on? So then they accuse him of starting the fire to cover up what him and Jason did to Alison, and that Alison's still actually alive. What's going on with that theory then? She's alive, but they killed her? What's going on with that theory? Girls, we've got to get together. We've got to get together and we've got to plan this fully, because you can't be accusing someone when your theory is like this. I'm really sorry, my loves. Like, come on now. But Wilden feels very betrayed by the girls because he's like kind of been helping them out. Like, he is actually kind of a nice guy in this book. So like I said, he's been helping them out, so he feels really betrayed. But he says that he was hurrying away. He was looking after his sick uncle, and he had to go pick up a prescription for his uncle at CVS. And then the propane, Jason De Laurentiis asked him to pick it up for him, and because him and Jason are really good friends, he thought, why not? Like, just do my friend a favor, because he's been really, really busy. He says he feels betrayed that he would be in the frame for Alison's death, and the fact they think it could be her own brother is ridiculous. So ridiculous. And then he tells the girls they need to stop saying that they saw Alison, because it would just bring unwanted media attention to them that they probably do not need. So they should stop. I agree. Spencer and her mom, and her dad, to be honest, actually, have a little bonding session. They're kind of looking at like what remains of their backyard, but they have a bonding moment where they say that, you know what, none of this even matters. It just matters that you're alive and you're safe and everything is fine. Her parents have actually been really good to her the past few days. They've not been that horrible to her at this point. Well, I mean, they have previously, sorry, but like, in the meanwhile, they've been quite nice to her and quite understanding. And when Spencer was in hospital, she stayed overnight, make sure she was okay after the fire. Her parents stayed with her, checked she was still breathing. So they've taken care of her this time anyway. She then confesses that she spent her college fund trying to move away from them and got scammed by a woman called Olivia, but they say that the money doesn't matter and they can probably get it back and trace where it is. However, things hit the fan here, ladies and gentlemen. They really do. They really, really do. Oh, the sun's gone back in. Why don't you look at that? They actually confess that Olivia gave birth to Spencer. They explain that Melissa's delivery was difficult. The doctors told her that giving birth to another child could endanger her health, but they really wanted another baby, so they end up using a surrogate, and that's where they found Olivia. Towards the end of the pregnancy, she started to get demanding and wanted more money from them. She threatened to escape to Canada to keep Spencer for herself, so they paid her more. They thought the best thing they could do was keep it a secret from Spencer. Her grandmother didn't like the idea and didn't see it as a natural thing, so that's why in her will she specified that only natural born children in the family will be able to get inheritance money. And her grandmother never actually forgave her parents for doing it, which, like, come on now. She specifies they used both assets of the parents and that Olivia was just like the surrogate. So it kind of still is like Spencer's still kind of biologically the kid. Mike and Hannah are together at this point, and he tells Hannah that he's made up like really nice rumors of her on Twitter so that they can distract the media from where everything's going on, because like I said, the media are really onto the girls. They're really kind of harassing the girls at the moment. So one of the rumors that he made up was Hannah and Marin in talks with MTV about a reality show. Mike says that he's heard a new A has been messaging them. However, Hannah's like, I've not received anything because I blocked the number from my phone. Thank you. We should have done this sooner, girls. It would have been long over. So Mike's like, yeah, it better stay that way. You better not be receiving any text messages under my watch. Tom speaks to Hannah and says the school psychologist has said he thinks Hannah may have PTSD and is worried about her. Kate openly tells everyone about Hannah's ED and that Hannah had told Kate all about it. So Hannah's like, what the hell? Like, you've just told everyone about my ED, like, just out in public. Like, Kate is she's on the jail list. Absolutely, she's on the jail list. What on earth is she trying to get at here? Like, why would you openly say that without someone's consent or permission? Or even just in general, like, why would you, like, that's someone's personal life experience that they're going through and you're openly, like, doing that? Sorry. Not in this house. Hannah's like, well, Kate's clearly doing this to get back at me, like, not to help me. Because Kate's claiming that she's telling people because it would help Hannah. But, like, let Hannah do it. Hannah will tell people when Hannah's ready, you know? The psychologist also said that lying could be a symptom too. So they discredit their whole story about them seeing Ian's body and seeing Alison, and that she also lied about sneaking out to dinner. So they have been thinking of sending her to a facility. Yeah. Let's send her to a facility instead of being a parent to her, Tom. Why do you think she's like this, Tom? I'm going to put him again on the jail list. I'm sorry. He's really annoying me. This man is really annoying me. Tom, why are you invalidating your daughter like this? Aria talks to her parents about seeing Alison's body. And they come to the conclusion that Alison's ghost was trying to tell Aria something. So Aria goes to a seance. Okay. She actually sees Noel there. Right. The actual seance ends up being a dud. So Noel believes in psychics, so convinces her to go to mediums with him, one of which produces a message in Ali's handwriting that states Ali killed Ali. This leads her to believe that Alison might have S-worded herself, which, like, doesn't make sense. Aria, come on, girl, let's put the dots together. If Alison was buried alive, how did she do it herself? These girls are useless. When I tell you, give me the 2 days training that Toby had in the TV show, I will solve this crime like that. I really would. Sorry. So Aria and Noel bond after having lost someone close to them. For Aria, it was Alison. For Noel, it was his older brother. Noel's brother S-worded when Noel was 6. And then Noel and Aria kiss. I actually really like this relationship in the books, actually, everybody. So I'm not going to boo it. I don't like Noel in the TV show. Think he's a bit irrelevant, but, like, he's always trying to get involved. But I don't know, in the books, like, he's okay. Like, well, yes. Like, yeah, okay. Also, you know the whole Xavier thing? Nothing really happens with that in this book. So Emily refuses to believe that it wasn't Alison. So A sends her to an Amish community under, like, a false identity to discover, like, what's going on. She gets a message from A which says, your name is Emily Stolfus. You're from Ohio, but you've come... Sun's gone back in. Thanks a lot, Rachel. Thanks a lot. You're from Ohio, but you've come to Lancaster for a visit. If you want to see your old BFF again, you'll do exactly what I say. Did I forget to mention you're Amish? Everyone else is there too. Viel Gluck. That's German for good luck. A. So she meets a few people there. Right. So she meets this girl called Lucy. And... oh, Lucy! Oh my god, Lucy! Okay, so she learns that Lucy's sister Leah went missing several years prior after threatening to run away with her boyfriend, although everyone except Lucy believes her boyfriend murdered her. Emily discovers Leah's boyfriend. Who is it, everyone? Wilden. Okay. She believes the body in the grave, Alison's grave, is Leah's and not Alison's. A instructs her to break into Rosewood Police Precinct for evidence, but she... Actually, I'm not going to say what happens yet. Never mind. We'll say that a bit later on. Spencer's parents have told her, like, she doesn't have to go back to school. She doesn't want to. But Spencer's like, I want to kind of get back in the swing of things. She says there's still time to get into college. But
Anyway, there's a little scene, scenes in books, whatever, with Andrew. Andrew says that he warned her about Olivia, but like she wasn't listening. And Spencer has been ignoring him since that whole thing because she also called him a clingy loser. But anyway, they kind of make up and they agree that they should meet sometime to talk about everything. Reporters then surround Spencer as she leaves the school, and she tells them that she didn't see Alison and it was all just a misunderstanding because obviously Wilden told them, look, you need to get the media back off your case. Get them away. So Spencer arrives home and sees Melissa back home. She's surprised to see Melissa because she's not seen her in almost a week. Melissa said she felt she needed to get out of Rosewood but came back because she heard Spencer had been hurt and she wanted to see the destruction to the woods. Melissa also says she knows about the surrogacy. Last week, Spencer had noticed someone who looked suspiciously like Melissa who had been searching through the forest not far from where they found Ian's body. Aria had found Ian's ring in the woods just before the fire started, and now they're wondering if that's what Melissa was looking for. Melissa's very sketchy. Very sketchy. Don't really know how I feel about Melissa. Melissa then confesses that her mum, she felt like her mum was forcing her to say that Ian was guilty because she didn't think her story made sense and just wanted to get the truth out of her. So then A sends Spencer a text message which says, all those clues I've given you are right. Liar, liar, just not in the way you think. But since I'm such a nice person, here's another hint. There's a major cover-up taking place right under your nose, and someone close to you has all the answers. Hannah ends up going to this facility that her dad is sending her to, where she befriends a controlling girl named Iris. Iris is obsessed with her previous roommate, Courtney. Now, everyone. Courtney, I need you to keep in your minds. Courtney will come back. Okay, keep this in your mind, everyone. Please. Iris reveals Hannah is in a clinic to the press, causing rumours that she is clinically insane. Hannah has more dreams about Alison, which causes her to suspect that Iris has something to do with Alison's death. Okay. This is so similar to the TV shows in the aspect that that they will accuse anyone. Anyone shows any hint of any instability or any hatred towards Alison, they did it. They killed her. Let's relax, everyone. Let's calm down, everyone. Iris threatens Hannah, causing her to break down in front of everyone before she is arrested by the police. So that's how that goes. Thanks for the facility help. Yeah, Hannah's truly better. Spencer's mum apologizes to Spencer because she feels like she pushed her too hard in school, because Melissa was always the best student in her class, but Spencer had other people in her class who were equally as smart as Spencer, and she felt like Spencer was too happy being number 2, but also she felt like she never asserted her dominance onto Alison. She refers to a time where Alison got onto the field hockey team and Spencer didn't, and Spencer was kind of okay with it, really. Nothing really angered Spencer about it. Spencer then finds her mum's yearbook photos, so she starts going through them. Spencer finds that there's a student in this yearbook who is no other than Kenneth De Laurentiis. A sends her a message saying, think that's crazy? Now take another spin through your dad's hard drive starting with J. You won't believe what you'll find. Interesting. Now it's getting good, right? Spencer learns at one point her father had been having an affair with Jessica De Laurentiis. Spencer realizes the possibility that Ali and Jason are her half siblings and is led to believe that her mother may have killed Alison because of it. Dun, dun, dun. Dramatics are out, everyone. Are you ready? Right. Are you ready? Do you want another one? Spencer confronts her parents, but her mother is shocked to hear about the affair for the first time, but always suspected Peter to be having an affair with Jessica. Mrs. Hastings screams at Mr. Hastings and demands a divorce. And then on the hard drive, Spencer finds letters that Peter would write to Jessica in a flirtatious tone. On one of the letters, she finds out it was last modified on June 20th, which was the night that Alison died. interesting. A then sends Emily a text message with an image that shows a document titled Alison De Laurentiis Timeline, interviewing Jessica De Laurentiis June 21st. A then sends another image of a DNA report, but she's unable to see the results. A then captions it, want to see for yourself? The evidence room is in the back of the Rosewood police station. I'll leave the door open. Spencer then goes on a thing. She receives messages from someone who we assume to be Ian. Ian says that they were wrong about Jason and Wilden, but they are definitely hiding something. They did not hurt Alison though. Spencer replies saying, how do I know you didn't kill Alison? And is just trying to set them up for it so like they can take the fall for it. But Ian pleads his innocence. Spencer asks Ian if he remembers Melissa arguing with her dad the night Alison died. She met him at the door and was yelling at him about something. But Ian is like, girl, you need to talk to your parents about this. I'm not involved. I'm not getting involved. He finally spills though and says that him and Melissa were sleeping in the barn. After the argument Melissa had with her parents, she was really upset. Melissa told him that she was pretty sure Peter was having an affair with Alison's mum and that her mum had just found out. She was afraid that her mum would do something stupid. So now Spencer's like, whoa. Because her mum denied knowing about the affair, but she did know. And Melissa also knew about the affair as well. So now she's kind of like, these two now have motives to kill Alison. Ian says that he actually already knew about the affair because he had saw them previously but wanted to keep it a secret from Melissa. Melissa got it out of him, and Melissa also got it out that Alison knew about it as well. Girl, who didn't know about this affair? Because I feel like everyone and their mother, everyone knows about it. Like, it's actually no longer a secret. Everyone knows now. He told Alison about the affair and she took it really, really hard. Wilden and Jason already hated Ian, but that was the final straw. So now Jason and Wilden know as well. Who doesn't know? Should have told me about it as well. Like, Spencer starts to question if her mum killed Alison because she hated the thought of her failed marriage being used as blackmail. Mrs. Hastings walks in and sees the yearbook photos and tells Spencer to get ready because they're going for a drive. It quickly moves along because Aria, Spencer, Emily and Hannah are all arrested for Alison's murder, right? Like, out of nowhere, they're all arrested for it. Wilden ends up releasing the girls and tells them that Billy Ford killed Alison. Now, who is Billy Ford? Emily recognizes him as one of the men working on Ali's gazebo where she was buried. A police report states this, okay? The saga of Alison De Laurentiis' murder has finally ended. A man has just been arrested for Alison's murder on the basis of overwhelming evidence after another body was found earlier on this evening. Now, don't worry, because we will find out who that body is. Don't worry. It really comes out of nowhere. It really comes out of nowhere. Anyway, the police received a tip that the deaths might be connected. Their investigation led them to find out Mr. Ford had photos of Mrs. De Laurentiis on the laptop in his truck. Also on the laptop was the pictures of the now known Pretty Little Liars. Also found in the car were records of correspondence in the form of text messages, photos, under the handle that Ian was using to message Spencer. The police reveal, well, they don't reveal actually. I lie. There's a whole scene kind of similar to how Alison's body was found. There's a bunch of police cars on Spencer's road. And Spencer's worried that something might have happened to Melissa. So Spencer goes outside and she actually finds out the body they found was Jenna's. Right? No, because the gaggery of it. This kind of comes out of nowhere. Jenna just ends up dead. So we're kind of left to wonder, was this A or was it something else? But that really comes out of nowhere. Honestly, Jenna should have died in the TV show. And I feel I don't know, Jenna dying this way in a TV show would have been really, really cool. Because it actually comes out of nowhere. No one's expecting this, you know? A letter from A at the end of the book reads this. Poor Jenna Kavanaugh. I'd feel bad, but what's done is done. Finito, over. Stick a fork in her, she's dead. Does that make me soulless? Oh well. Does that make me sound heartless?
the title. Oh, I see. I get it.
Of course, the Pretty Little Liars are going to take this one hard. Aria will wish she'd had asked Jenna about Alison's pesky sibling problems. Emily will cry because, well, Emily always cries.
A got her. Sorry to Emily, sorry to this woman.
Hannah will wear a little black dress that does make her look skinny to the funeral. And Spencer, well, she'll just be glad her sister is alive. So where do we go from here? A body has been found, DNA has been collected, an arrest has been made. Oh yeah, forgot to say, Billy Ford was also charged with Jenna's murder as well. That's how they kind of found out. Deaths are connected type of thing. A mugshot has been taken, but is it my mugshot? Am I the big bad Billy Ford or someone else entirely? Well, you'll just have to stay tuned because I'm keeping that my last little secret. For now, anyway. Kisses, A.
So guys, when I say things hit the fan in this book, so much happens in this book, so many secrets get revealed. I was truly gagged. I'm sorry. Jenna's death was such a surprise and literally did come out of nowhere. Did not expect that at all. I feel like things are starting to connect. Characters are starting to get introduced that you need to know later on. And I feel like the liars, although they're kind of miles off at this point, like they're kind of getting somewhere with it, you know? But yeah, let's move on to the last book of Arc 2. Okay, so we are back. For me, it's a new day. For you, it's not. But we're still in the Barbie pajamas. We're still rocking with it. Because, why would I not? I'm just a girl. Actually, everyone, it is International Women's Day when I'm filming this last part of the video. So, happy International Women's Day, everyone. We are on to the last book of this part, the final book of Arc 2. And a lot goes down in this book. I know I said previously that the last book, things hit the fan, but I feel like things truly hit the fan in this book. So,
hi guys, sorry, I'm editing, right? And I've not even introduced what the next book's called. The audacity of it, really. Anyway, so this is the last book in this arc, and it's called Wanted. There we go, that's all I needed to say. Could have done it when I filmed. Anyway, enjoy!
So, at the start of this book, we are given a flashback to the sleepover at the barn. And they're all kind of just setting things up and they're really excited. And then Alison puts forward the idea. She's just learned how to hypnotize people. So she's asked the girls, can I hypnotize you? And obviously at first, they're all very oh, that is not. But they eventually give in and they get hypnotized and they have their own little dreams. However, her and Spencer have a little spat, right? And Spencer asks Alison to get out of the barn. Alison leaves the barn, but Spencer goes and follows her. So Spencer follows her and she yells at Alison, you tried to take everything away from me, but you can't have this. You read about it in my diary, didn't you? You think kissing Ian was so special, but he told me that you didn't even know how. Okay, let's not argue about this grown man, because he should be in jail. So let's not sit around and let's not argue about it. All right? So Aria, Emily, and Hannah all kind of come back to their senses and kind of wake up. And Aria sees that no one's, Hannah and Spencer aren't in the barn. So she goes out looking for them, but doesn't find them. Spencer returns to the barn. But they all come to the conclusion they're very mad at Alison because they think Alison's just left them, and from that night they're right, the friendship's done, it's over, Alison's left us, we're not going to do it anymore. But obviously they don't know what's going to happen that night. So then we come back
to modern day. Spencer is watching like a news program thing about Billy Ford's trial, and there's like a representative of Billy Ford on the news, and they say the following: "My client has been wrongfully accused. He's absolutely innocent and he was framed." So previously the police had found Jenna's limp, lifeless body in a ditch behind her house. According to reports, Jenna's parents arrived home on Saturday evening to an empty house. Mr. and Mrs. Kavanaugh heard frantic and persistent barks from the back of their property. Jenna's guide dog was tied to a tree, but Jenna was gone. When they released the dog, he sprinted straight to the hole the plumbers had dug a few days ago to repair a burst water pipe. But there was more inside the hole than the newly fitted pipe. It was as if the murderer wanted Jenna to be found. So a reporter states that Mr. Ford has a long history of violence, and a YouTube video showed a fuzzy image of Billy and a guy in a cap fighting in a Wawa parking lot. Even after the guy fell to the ground, Billy kept kicking him. So then Spencer got quite afraid, and she pictures him doing that to Alison, so she gets quite spooked by the whole thing. The news report continues. It states, "These images found in Mr. Ford's car have never been seen before. It was a shot of Spencer's barn, which had been ruined in the fire Billy did several weeks ago, presumably to destroy evidence tying him to Alison and Ian's murders. In the picture, 4 girls sat on the round rug in the center of the room, their heads bowed. A 5th girl stood above them, her arms in the air. Her next photo was of the same scene, except the standing girl had moved a few inches to the left. In the following shot, one of the girls who had been sitting had stood up and moved towards the window. Spencer recognized the girl's dirty blonde hair and rolled up the field hockey skirt. She was looking at her younger self. These photos were from the night Alison went missing. Billy had been standing outside the barn watching them all along." Aria is kind of going through it. She goes to school and she sees a memorial that the school have put together for Jenna. And she kind of has a bit of a moment because she feels like maybe there was something her and her friends could do that would have prevented Jenna from dying that day. When Billy was communicating with them, he sent Emily a photo of Jenna and Alison when they were younger. He then directed Emily to Jenna's house when Jenna and Jason De Laurentiis were fighting. He was obviously giving them a hint to his next victim. So this really kind of eats Aria up inside, and she's really like, oh, I feel like we could have done something to maybe prevent this from happening. Jenna had also been standing in Aria's like front lawn, kind of looking at Aria as if she wanted to tell Aria something. So she thinks maybe Jenna wanted to say that she was in trouble or something like that, or to be aware of someone. Noel and Aria see a poster of like a Valentine's Day dance. So Noel asked her to go to that, and Aria's like, yeah, you know what? It's always been my dream. Let's do it. And then Noel recommends to go see a grief like group counselor thing because it helped him after his brother died. But then Aria just consistently feels that something is wrong with the case. Something is not right. Something's a bit odd. And there's definitely something kind of itching away at her. So Hannah's kind of being mocked at school because everyone knows that she went to a facility. So she gets the nickname Psycho. So Mike kind of takes her away from that situation. However, Emily taps her on the shoulder and tells her that Jessica De Laurentiis is holding a press conference that day. And Jessica has requested the girls be there because they need to know what she's going to say in the press conference. So they head over to the De Laurentiis house. Maya pulls Emily aside when they get there. Maya is really upset. In the books, her and Maya are very close. So Maya obviously here is very upset about Jenna's death. Maya then pulls out a green knapsack and gives it to Emily. She states that the workers were cleaning up around the fire and found it. They thought it was hers, but then she remembered it from Emily's room. Inside of it was a pink pouch with an E on it. It was going to be buried when they did the time capsule thing with Alison, but Emily ended up not burying it. So Mrs. De Laurentiis then opens up the press conference. When I say this is a big press conference, guys, so first she thanks people for coming, and then she gives this speech. I'm going to read it because I will get it wrong and I can't memorize. So she says, "The past 4 years have been very difficult and painful for our entire family, but we've had a lot of support. I want everyone to know that we're doing okay, and we're relieved to know that we can finally put our daughter's murder behind us. 2 tragedies have happened in Rosewood, 2 very small, beautiful, innocent girls. I'd like all of us to have a moment of silence for my daughter and for Jenna Kavanaugh. But that isn't the only reason I've called everyone here today. The truth is, we have another child. Someone who hasn't grown up with us always because of health problems. Our daughter was recently released and given a clean bill of health, but we hope to protect her from the public scrutiny until her sister's true murderer was safely behind bars. Thanks to Officer Wilden and his team, this is now reality. With that, we think it's time to introduce her all to you. This is Courtney, Alison's twin sister. Yeah. So now we've thrown a spanner in the works. Okay. Oh my god, I'm so excited to tell you what happens in the rest of the book. So yeah, Alison now has a twin sister, which is very interesting. Throws a lot of things in there. The four girls flabbergasted. They're like, what? You know, that imagine finding out your friend has a twin sister. I mean, it does happen in the show, to be fair. So whatever. And like the media, like the reporters are like kind of murmuring behind them, wondering if like the girls like knew about it, but like they obviously didn't. Out of the corner of her eye, Spencer sees Melissa kind of going through the crowd. She walks over to Jason DeLaurentis, says something in his ear, and he kind of like reacts to that. Jason kind of turns pale and turns to Melissa, says something back, and then Melissa stares at Courtney and Courtney flinches. The girls go inside the house and Courtney kind of follows them in. She tells the lies she won't buy and that she wants a minute alone with them before things got too crazy. Courtney admits she was the one at the fire that night and apologizes for running away. She says that she got a note from Billy saying there was something in the woods that I needed to see. Courtney said, I wasn't supposed to leave the house, but the note said it would help solve Alison's murder. When I reached the woods, the fire started. I thought I was going to die, but then Aria saved me. She then says that Wilden got her out of there, and the girls say that she should not trust him because he's not what he seems. Courtney then tells Emily, settle down, killer. Like, killer is like a nickname. And this is when Emily gets suspicious because only Alison knew of that like nickname towards Emily. But the next day, Emily sees Naomi, Kate, Riley, and Courtney hanging out. So she goes up to them, but they're like, don't sit here. You can't sit here. Go and sit with Skids. Skids is Mike's new nickname. It's a whole thing. And they keep calling her Psycho over and over. So Mike offers like, yeah, come and sit with me. But then she turns to Mike. She's like, I'm not going to sit with Skids because of like germs and everything. So she thinks like, yeah, let me win the girls over. But the girls are still like, you still can't sit with us. Absolutely not. I really like this. It said Mike has a moment as if he's seen a ghost. The ghost of bitchiness past. Gaggery. The girls end up walking away, everyone apart from Courtney. So Courtney kind of sits there, and she's like, I like your hair. Hannah's like, thank you. And then Courtney kind of just goes. Noel talks to Aria about Courtney, asking like, have you like spoken to her a lot since she's come back, whatever. But Aria's like, no, and she doesn't really want to because it brings a lot of things back regarding Alison's disappearance and murder that she doesn't really want to bring back. So then Courtney enters the classroom and she gets sat next to Aria. So Courtney and Noel are kind of not flirting. I think Courtney is more trying to flirt than like I don't think Noel has like any idea. And this makes Aria really jealous because Alison used to have a crush on Noel before. So she gets quite jealous about this. In 7th grade, Aria told Alison that she had a crush on Noel. Ali assured her that she'll talk to him to see if he liked her back, but once she did, Ali told her something kind of weird happened at Noel's house. I told him about you and he said he likes you as a friend, and then he likes me, and I think I like him back, but I won't go out with him if you don't want me to. So that's why Aria gets quite jealous. So there is a new update in the case of Billy Ford. So the update says a witness in Florida says he met with Mr. Ford outside 7-Eleven on January 15th, the day the Pretty Little Liars discovered Mr. Ian Thomas's dead body in Rosewood. The witness wishes to remain anonymous because the meeting had to do with the purchase of illegal drugs. But if investors can corroborate this story, this alibi might be enough to exonerate Mr. Ford of Mr. Thomas's murder. So the girls put together that it can't be possible, because if Billy was in Florida when Ian was killed, someone else must have taken those pictures and dug that stuff up on us as A. So Emily thinks Billy had paid someone to kind of like be like an A sidekick type of thing.
So Courtney says that she once visited Jenna a few times, and Jenna was the only person who knew that Courtney was alive. And then she kind of gets really sad about Jenna's death. And then Emily is like, oh, I'm always here if you need a shoulder to cry on. And there's a scene, they're getting ready for PE, gym, sorry, I think Americans call it. And we call it PE. I don't know. Anyway, and yeah, like Courtney's getting undressed, and Emily's kind of like watching her in the mirror, and then like Courtney like smirks about it and kind of, you know, uses that with Emily. So Melissa then tells Spencer she knew about Courtney since high school. Jason had a crush on Melissa, and one day he blurted out that he had a secret sister who was in a hospital. He begged Melissa not to tell anyone about it, and she said it was the least she could do because she ditched Jason for Ian. So that's why she kept the secret. Sorry, I have a hair in my eye and it's really, I can see it. So Spencer talks to Courtney about the affair that Peter and Jessica had, and Courtney says that she always knew about it. She found out because Alison found out about it, and Alison told her about it. Courtney says she doesn't know if Jason or her dad knows about it, but guesses that they're sort of like clued in on it somehow. They bond over the fact that they both have sisters who wanted to be like in the limelight, and they were kind of like shut out. So obviously Spencer talks about Melissa and Courtney speaks about Alison. So Ashley invites Hannah to a fashion show in New York City. She goes to Kate and her friends and drops hints about getting them. So suddenly they turn quite nice to her to get the tickets. She ends up giving in to them and gives them like tickets to go. However, later on, I think Ashley actually never sent the tickets or something like that. So it doesn't actually end up happening, but like Hannah just kind of gets them on side. Courtney and Hannah talk about Iris, who was like the one at the facility who kind of went at Hannah, and Courtney says that she's really happy that Hannah got away from her. So there's another update on the Billy Ford case. Another one, thank you. Billy Ford, the alleged murderer in custody, claims he has an alibi for both the night Alison De Laurentiis went missing and the night Jenna Kavanaugh was killed. Police will look thoroughly into these findings. If his lawyers can prove his alibis, he may be able to go free. This will open up what investigators thought would be an airtight case. Aria then goes to Noel's like support group thing because she's going to pick him up, but she actually sees Courtney and Noel talking. So they approach her car, and Noel asks Aria if Aria can take Courtney home as well, and it's quite awkward in the car. Very awkward, I would imagine. Courtney gets in the car and sits in the passenger seat. Aria asks her about the support group, and Noel says that he told Courtney that she should check it out. But Courtney says she thinks it was a little bit too down to earth. So then Noel gets dropped off first at his house. So now it's just Courtney and Aria in the car. So eventually she drops Courtney off, but she sees Melissa like staring at her. So she's really suspicious of Melissa at this point. So Emily is having conflicted feelings because she feels something towards Courtney. However, so Courtney comes up to her room one time, and Emily gets a bit like, okay, because how does Courtney know where her room is? You know? So get this, everyone. Be sat for what I'm about to read, okay? Guys, this is serious stuff. This is mega stuff. This might be better than the TV show. I'm not even joking. I'm not joking. Anyway, Courtney reveals to Emily she's actually Alison. She says that she's been waiting for the right time to tell her about it. But Alison says that her twin's name is Courtney, but she didn't have health problems. She was actually insane. In second grade, she started to pretend to be Alison. She hurt a couple of people a few times and tried to kill Alison by drowning her in the family pool. Shout out Paige.
You've got another one on your side here. Her parents were horrified and sent her sister away and moved the family to Rosewood. They told her to never talk about her, which is why she kept her a secret. But then in 6th grade, Courtney switched from Radley to the facility. She put up a huge fight about it because she did not want to start a new hospital, but once she was there, she started to improve. Her parents decided to have her live at home for the summer after 7th grade on a trial basis. She came back to school before the year ended. Alison says then that the girls saw her the day before the sleepover. She was reading Alison's journal in her room trying to be her again. So that night at the sleepover, Alison and Spencer fought and she ran out of the barn. Billy didn't attack her like everyone thinks. Alison came back to her bedroom and Billy got the wrong sister. Courtney was supposed to stay in her bedroom all night. When her parents saw only her the next morning, they assured her that she was Courtney. Alison was supposed to be in Spencer's barn. She tried to tell her parents that she was Alison, but they did not believe her and they thought it was Courtney's act. So, basically, this will change. So this is just what we're told so far, okay? Courtney is actually Alison, and Courtney was the one that actually died that night. But when they found out that Courtney, who they thought was Alison, was missing, they thought Alison was Courtney and sent Courtney away. Does that make any sense? But it does change anyway, so there's no point trying to make sense of it. But I digress. Then, when the twin they thought was Ali did not come home from a sleepover, they flipped out. They figured out that she was Courtney and she had done something terrible. They could not handle having a sick daughter at home while the other one was missing, so they sent the girl they thought was Courtney back to the facility the next afternoon, but it was Alison the whole time. They did not visit her one time. Jason used to visit Courtney all the time, but even he would not listen to her when she pleaded with them that she was actually Alison. This is a lot. This is a lot of information, guys. This is a lot. She says that she couldn't tell the girls because her parents wouldn't allow any calls in there or anything like that to the girls. But also, she realized that the more she said she was Alison, the more people thought she was sick. So she kind of came to the conclusion the only way she could get out was if she actually pretended to be Courtney and pretended to be getting better. She reveals that the body they found, the DNA matched because obviously like they're twins, they share the same DNA and the same like dental records and things like that. So that's why the DNA was like exactly kind of like the same thing. So Emily is like really happy to have Alison back, and she promises to keep it a secret from the rest of the girls until she's ready to, you know, tell the girls herself. Alison invites Spencer and Emily to go dancing at a club. So they dance, etc. And then Alison and Emily sit Spencer down and tell her the truth. At first, Spencer is angry at Alison for not letting them know that years ago that she was still alive. However, Alison tearfully apologizes for teasing her before she went missing and reminds her that since finding out that Spencer's dad and Alison's mum had an affair, they're technically half-sisters. Spencer forgives Alison and the three girls dance, feeling like they're all friends again. Spencer gets to know Alison and they attempt to connect as sisters, becoming extremely close. Melissa doesn't trust Alison and attempts to stop Spencer from talking to Courtney, causing Spencer to slowly believe Melissa knows that she is not Courtney. The next person to know about Alison, Courtney being Alison, is Hannah. Courtney, Kate, Naomi, and Riley come up with Hannah when she invites them to a fashion show in New York. However, when the tickets are handed to the man at the front door, he rejects the girls, telling them that the tickets are fake. Naomi, Kate, and Riley are appalled, and Hannah tells her that she's never going to be popular at Rosewood ever again. Hannah calls her mother, who tells her that she had never sent any tickets, leaving Hannah to believe that it had been Billy Ford the whole time. Hannah sits down at a nearby bench. Courtney follows her and sits down next to her, trying to make her feel better. When Hannah calls herself a loser, Courtney tells her that it is the stupidest thing she's ever heard, to which Hannah replies, "You've known me 2 days." But Courtney says that she's known Hannah for much longer, revealing her true identity. Hannah feels amazing knowing that Alison can finally see Hannah's makeover compared to the overweight geek she used to be. Alison offers Hannah a plan to take down Kate, Naomi, and Riley and help Hannah regain her popularity at school, which Hannah accepts.
So the next one, the final one to find out about Courtney being Alison is Aria.
So Aria finds out about Courtney's true identity in the woods. From her bedroom window, Aria sees Melissa suspiciously running around the neighborhood at night. Aria goes outside to investigate and tries to catch up with Melissa to see where she's going. However, Aria ends up in the woods, having lost sight of Melissa. Instead, she finds Courtney sitting at the edge of the wishing well. Courtney mentions drawing it on her time capsule flag because it was the only place that was just hers. But then she reveals her true identity. However, unlike the others, Aria gets quite mad about it and gets quite overwhelmed about it, so she ends up running off. Aria tolerates Alison but begins to believe she's just waiting to embarrass them like she did before.
So there's a dance going on, like I said earlier, and Alison invites the girls over to prepare for the dance, but she's actually heard a rumor that Alison and Noah are together. So she breaks up with Noah and accuses them of kissing Alison, Courtney, whoever. After the dance, Alison invites them over to her house and they all accept it. However, on the way there, Spencer gets a phone call from her mum and it's really frantic, and she says that Melissa has gone missing. Spencer had begun to believe that her sister was the one who killed Alison and that she may be after the rest of them. But once they arrive at the house, it is revealed Alison is the killer. Yep. Alison is the killer, everyone. They discover that the girl that they were friends with, so let's bring it to the show to make sense. So before Alison went missing, the friends that Alison was, all the time, it was actually Courtney. Yeah, it was not Alison. And so they find out that the real Alison had been sent to a facility. She was kind of like the one that was insane. She ultimately killed Courtney for ruining her life and attempted to kill the girls in the forest fire, tried having them arrested, and is now going to kill them by setting the house on fire. So she killed Courtney because Courtney ruined her life. She already tried to kill the liars, but she wants to try and kill them again. And her plan is to set the house on fire with them inside of it. But also, like I said, she killed Jenna and Ian as well and framed Billy for it. But Billy's a weirdo anyway. But anyway, the liars find a letter from A. So Alison is also A. That has been threatening, the second A. Alison reveals herself to be A. So this is the letter from Alison, A, whoever, right? It's a long letter, so this is like a bedtime story almost. Once upon a time. Oh my god, it actually starts once upon a time. It's a fairy tale. It's not a fairy tale. It's not a fairy tale. It's actually quite serious at the end of the day. Once upon a time, there was two beautiful girls named Alison and Courtney, but one of them was crazy. And as you know, with a few magical twists of fate, Alison became Courtney for a while. But what you don't know is that Courtney became Alison too. You heard me right, Pretty Little Liars, and it's all because of you. Remember when you stalked me in my backyard for the time capsule flag? I remember the girl who trotted out to the lawn and talked to you. That wasn't me. As you figured out, Courtney was home switching from Radley to the preserve that weekend. And oh, how poor widow Courtney didn't want to go. She had her neat, crazy little life at Radley, and she didn't want to start over in a new hospital. If she had to start over somewhere, it was going to be in Rosewood, and start over she did. She was supposed to go to the preserve the very morning she saw you sulking around my yard, and man did she jump to the first chance. 1 minute she and I were arguing. I was so happy she was on her way out. And the next, she was in the yard, pretending to be me, talking to you guys like you were BFFs. Talking about my flag as if she hadn't been the one who had stolen it first, and ruined my masterpiece with this stupid wishing well. How was I supposed to know that everyone, my mum, my dad, and even my brother, would think it was me out there and Courtney inside? How was I supposed to know my mum would grab me in the hall and say it's time to go, Courtney? Plead with her that I was Alison. But my mum didn't believe me, all because Courtney took my A is for Ali ring when I wasn't looking. My mum yelled outside to the girl who wasn't Alison that we were leaving, and the girl wasn't Ali, turned, smiled, and said goodbye. Once we went, Courtney got my perfect life, and I got her wrecked one. Just like that, she ruined everything. She put her lips all over Ian Thomas. She nearly got arrested for blinding pretty Jenna Kavanaugh. She ditched Naomi and Riley, the coolest girls at school, but the very worst thing she did in my name was choose 4 new best friends in their place. Girls she knew I wouldn't look twice at. Girls who weren't special in any way.
Jesus Christ. Girls who she knew would fall over for her, despite for the opportunity to be given her exclusive club. The girls who helped her got everything she wanted. Any of this sound familiar, ladies? But don't worry, this little fairy tale can still have a happy ending for me. I saw to it that my sister paid for what she did, and now so will you. I will try to burn you. I will make you crazy. I have tried to have you arrested. I've even messed with you this week. Surprise! I flung myself at Aria's boyfriend. I sent poor Hannah fake tickets to a certain fashion show. I let Emily believe there was a happily ever after for us after all. Smooch. And Spencer, I have a surprise for you. Look closely, it's right under your nose. I suppose I should thank Courtney for her diary keeping. It helped me and Mona so much. It's all led to this being the big moment. The curtain's about to go up, bitches, and the show is about to begin. Get ready to meet your maker. It won't be long now. Kisses. A, the real one. Guys, when I say the gaggery of it, Sarah Shepherd, take a bow. Truly, this was amazing when I read it for the first time. Just like seeing everything come to a conclusion, I was like, wow, absolutely. This is truly phenomenal. Phenomenal. So the girls come to the conclusion that their Alison was Courtney, and Courtney is now dead. Alison was A, and that is where they sense something is on fire, but the door is locked and they're locked in. So the girls then bump into a closet and they hear like a little whimper inside. They're like, oh, what is that? So they open the closet and guess what's inside? Ian's dead body. Yeah. Ian's dead body is in there, and Melissa has been taken by Alison and was also in there and like tied up and held hostage. And poor Melissa, actually, she was like crushed by Ian's like dead body. So that's something. During when the lions are trying to escape, Emily sees Alison like hammering the window shut so they can't get out. So when they see each other, the hammer drops to the floor, and that's when she really gets to see that this is the person who had done all of this. Emily grabbed Alison by the arm and asked her why she did this. Alison said that it was because they ruined her life. Emily says she loved her, but Alison calls her a loser. Then an explosion rips through the house, and when Emily next wakes up, she's outside with like everybody else who has like made it out, but Alison was like still inside, so she's presumed dead at this point. So after this is kind of like the lives after that. So Ashley finds out that Tom had sent Hannah to the facility, so she comes back, she kicks them out of her house, and she starts to look after Hannah. Good on you, Ashley. Thank you very much. Thank you for getting rid of that man. Hannah and Mike end up getting back together as well. Meredith goes into labor and has a baby called Lola. Noel and Aria get back together after it's known that Alison kissed Noel and it wasn't the other way round. And then Ella breaks up with Xavier after she learns about the inappropriate behavior. So Spencer's father claims that their family are going to work really hard to kind of repair everything, and Spencer and Melissa get a lot closer because obviously they almost died together, so it brings them together. And then Spencer and Andrew get back together as well. Emily then buries everything to do with Alison at Courtney's grave, hoping to kind of, you know, get rid of everything kind of to do with her. She hears some noises around the cemetery, but she doesn't know if they're real or not. But anyway, the book kind of ends when a new girl joins the school, and her name is an anagram for Alison De Laurentiis. So her name is Laura Saint Delons. And that is it for this arc of the series. I feel like things really happened this series, especially the final two books. Things went down and like it was so good. Like I think I kind of prefer the books to the TV show because like I don't know, I kind of like the whole Alison twin thing and like pretending to be each other. It's very much Mary Drake, Jessica De Laurentiis vibes, right? And like I kind of love it, but like everything coming to like its big conclusion, I think is like just so cool, and I love it so much. Yeah, I would love to hear your opinion down below on this set of the books. Did you like them? Would you have changed anything? Etc, etc. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.